stop people to get the virus. We need to stop people to die.
Number one, the most effective thing we can do is if every American citizen would only buy things that they can in the United States and never buy another thing made in communist China. That would be the biggest thing. It's bigger than all the sanctions, bigger than everything else we do. All right. So stop buying anything made from communist China and do your best to buy things made in America, and we'll get this economy going again faster. But on top of that, let's remember what they do. They steal our jobs, our technology. They put over 1 million people in prison for their religion. They were not transparent in this pandemic. Americans lost their lives and lost their jobs. So I have a bill that would allow the president to sanction them if they don't cooperate. We should not allow their students coming in here if they're going to try to steal the technology for our vaccine. I have a bill for that. But we've got to hold them accountable.
The Twitter feed yesterday, and I saw you post a video very firmly stating, "We stand with the people of Hong Kong." Wanted to quickly get your reaction to China now imposing a national security law on Hong Kong. You have put out a statement, China will pay.
China is going to be held to account for this. The global community knows China had an agreement with Hong Kong and two different systems of government. Now they're trying to backtrack on that because their economy is shrinking. The world is looking at them and how they have mishandled the COVID-19 crisis. They want China to pay for this, and now they're seeing China's overreach. I stand with Hong Kong. China should be held to account, and it is time for us to make certain that we do hold them accountable.
Your reaction to hearing the president there after this robust trade deal was done, and then how we saw China behave through this pandemic. Where does our relationship stand now?
It's getting worse. I think that that's the right path for us. President Trump's interview with Maria Bartiromo was significant because the president really, for the first time, started to let his hair down about what he really thought about Xi Jinping and the disappointment that he felt that Xi was not reciprocating American gestures. And it was not long after that, it was this Wednesday, where President Trump unleashed those tweets about the Chinese, which spoke about them in really stringent terms.
Meanwhile, when it comes to China clamping down on Hong Kong, Mike Pompeo is condemning all of this, calling China's actions the death knell for Hong Kong. Can the U.S. and the international intervention that we have seen so far, can they force China's hand here? I mean, you heard from the president just a moment ago. You see the protests that are happening. What do you have to say on all that, Gordon?
Couple things that we can do. First thing, we should withdraw the special sanctions exemptions that we provide to Hong Kong. Those exemptions are provided on the assumption that Hong Kong is governed autonomously from China, and clearly it's not.
Look, this was a virus that was unleashed by China. There was a cover-up that someday they're going to do an HBO show like they did with Chernobyl on this virus. But we're going to be part of the solution to the virus. Oh, a cover-up of the virus. I mean, the Chinese knew this was happening in November, December, January, and we're giving false information to the WHO.
Local authorities, or are you accusing Beijing?
Well, look, we don't know because they kicked out all the reporters and they wouldn't let CDC investigators come in, and they're still stonewalling an investigation. So we don't know who in the Chinese government did it, but it doesn't matter if it was a local Chinese government or the Communist Party of China. This is a real problem, and it cost many, many thousands of lives in America and around the world because the real information was not allowed to get out, and it was a cover-up, and we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. But it's hard to do in a communist closed society. It's hard to get to the bottom of what happened.
Ambassador O'Brien, thank you for your time.
So it's a very critical step in making this virus able to infect humans is it has to be able to bind ACE2. Now, in this case, this virus binds ACE2 in humans better than any other animal. So that means it's better adapted to infect humans than any other animal. And that's surprising because it we're not aware that it actually has had the opportunity to adapt to this human receptor before.
Professor, how do you know it adapts to humans better than any other animal?
So we were able to model the binding of the COVID-19's spike protein to ACE2 from a whole range of different species, from human to monkey to pangolins, cats and dogs, a whole variety of different species. And what we're able to show with the modeling approach is that the binding of the virus to human cells was stronger than for the cells of any other species. So it really looked like this was a virus that is optimally designed to infect humans.
我们敦促美方充分认清台湾问题的高度敏感性，恪守一个中国原则和中美3个联合公报，奉劝美方丢掉不切实际的幻想，放下国内政治的算计，正告美方不要试图挑战中国的底线，不要误判14亿中国人民捍卫国家统一的坚定的决心。
登记未结束前，禁止通过民航、铁路、客运、自驾等方式进京。公安机关将严控民航、铁路、客运、换乘卡口等进京私自购票进京、自驾进京或者通过其他方式进京的，公安机关将依据相关法律规定依法处理。吉林市将对所有不具备扫码测温条件的小熟食店、小水果店、小食杂店、小超市一律暂停营业，只能用塑料布封闭，留一个窗口，具备药店一样防护标准的。道歉，就必须道歉。 这录呢。
这怎么就不至于呢？
你骂人骂的对吗？你没骂呀？
这个是我以前在的这个口罩厂，没有人了，真的是倒闭了。去问一下，看要不要人。
哎，老板，问一下，这里还要人不要？不要人啊？哎，老板，问一下，你们这里还招人不招？不招人啊？要问一下，他这个厂里还要人不要？也不要人。这上面也是做口罩的吧？不要人啊？哎呀，哎，老板，你这里还要人不要？不要人。哎，老板，问一下，你们这里要人不？也不要。你们这里要人不要？不要人啊。
这都是厂里面扔的废的。假的，一切都是假的。加班都是在故意拆了装，装了拆，演给客户看的。口罩行业凉了，凉了。不给我发奖金，哼，我就来说实话。还有多少口罩厂是这么演给客户看的？随便了，谁的？随便谁的，随便谁的。就是给你扔了，扔了给我了。
还有火在烧。最必要把那个仓库，你给的仓库说出来的，你也非得说到底下来。
100年的美国人和全世界人民，如果还不能明白这个真相的话，还没有下决心干掉共产党的话，还不去彻底的下定决心，放弃掉你短视的利益，被几个利益集团绑架情况下干灭共产党的话，人类将面临着生存的灾难，就会全世界都会变成香港。不论是美国，不论是法国，不论是英国，不论是欧洲，你们的老婆、你的女儿就会像香港的陈延林的妈妈和陈延林一样，被强奸、被轮奸，最后全部被杀害。你们不信，咱们还走着看。这就是我给美国人民、给全世界人民发出来的3年以来一直的声音。世界正在被共产党的黑暗所笼罩，你准备好了吗？如果没有准备好，你等着付代价。如果你准备好了，只有一条路，干掉共产党。